How would you like to achieve your first million? And today we have with us Joy, which is a serial entrepreneur and the founder and owner of Level 9 Virtual. So, Joe, tell us, what are the 5 steps that entrepreneurs should be doing out there to make the first million?
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and the wisdom of how they sold their first million.
Yeah, to get started, I mean, the first thing you need to do is find a niche problem. Find a problem that you can actually solve either with a product or with your own skill set. And if you're trying to get into business from zero, one of the easiest things to do is service-based businesses because you don't need a bunch of capital to go buy product and inventory and all of that stuff. So I would start with finding a problem to actually solve. That would be the very first thing. Make sure that it's in a niche, not open to literally a problem for everybody. You want to be as niche as you possibly can. The riches are in the niches. And so it's a
Absolutely.
lot easier. It's so much easier to talk to one group of people than trying to talk to everyone. And so that would be the first thing. So find a problem that you can actually solve within a niche. Second thing I would say is whatever that solution to the problem is, go sell it to somebody before you even understand how to fulfill it and make them your test case. But get used to selling it before you even have it finished. So when we build businesses, because I own multiple companies, what we like to do is we find a problem that exists. We say, okay, here's the solution that we would provide. And then we go ask people to literally give us money for the solution that we explain to them. If they say yes and they give us money, then we go build the solution. And so then the third step would be to practice the fulfillment. You've got to actually go fulfill the service, have support with you, have your team with you or whoever you're going to have, and actually get good at fulfilling the service or fulfilling the delivery of product or working through manufacturing all the way through delivery, whatever that's going to be, but go through the fulfillment process. And as soon as you have the fulfillment process done, you know that somebody will give you money for it. You know that it's going to solve a problem. You know that you can fulfill it. The next step that I have down here is that I would like you to go and do nothing but sell more. Nothing else. Don't
Absolutely.
touch any other part of your business. You hire other people to do everything else. You have somebody else prospect. You do the sale. You have somebody else fulfill the service. And as you grow, you can add team members to take on other logistical areas. And then from there, at that point, you should have some sort of a moving machine that's replicable and you can do the same process over and over. Then you need to put somebody in your place to do sales so that you could step above the business and you can oversee the actual operations. And that's when you can create scale. So those would be my 5 steps.
Very, very good, Joe. And then let's break it down a little bit more because one of the things that you just share with us is very powerful, and I want our audience to for you to expand on this, and it's in the fact that you talk um about selling, right?
Yep.
And there are a lot of what we call a misconception, right, about sales and marketing that I don't think that people take entrepreneurs take this serious enough. But basically, you see, if is there is any crisis and COVID come or something, everybody thinks that it's a great idea to cut the expense related with sales and marketing, where number one, they are seeing that as an overhead. They see that as an expense rather than an investment. And, rather than put the foot in the gas, I found something really interesting in COVID times where they were cutting the budget from from advertising, marketing, and sales and advertising. And all these engines, Facebook, YouTube, the more people compete, the more expensive become. And now everybody's
Yep.
cutting the budget. Now the ads are even coming cheaper, and rather than everyone put the foot on the gas, everybody, every time there is a panic, every time there is something wrong, everybody's the most of the entrepreneurs take the decision. Okay, let's start cutting expenses, and sales and marketing is gonna be one of them. So Joy, tell us, because you do own several
Yeah.
businesses. This is what you do in crisis time. You cut sales and marketing.
No, I do the opposite of what everybody else does. So, I mean, if you want, probably the best advice in business is just do the opposite of what the masses do, right? Most businesses are going to fail. Most businesses don't make, serious money. And so if you want that outcome, then do what they do. If you want a better outcome, then do the opposite. So, for example, in one of my companies, we do marketing and advertising for wedding venues, and then we happen to be partners in 5 wedding venues. And so I'm involved in the operations. I know the business. And so when everybody cut down in COVID because they couldn't do events, they couldn't give tours at the venue, because of all those things, we doubled our ad spend and we took all of their market share.
Wow,
And
very
then
impressive. Well
they had to
done.
go fight to start to come back. And so we doubled down again. And so
Wow.
from where COVID started, we doubled down and then doubled down again. We were so far ahead of everybody else. They still, years later, can't catch up because we took so much market share. Our brand awareness grew so massive during that time. And we just did the opposite. Everybody's pulling out. I just noticed, like, man, there's less ads of these people. There's less going on. Let's just push it and let's just see what we can do. Let's just be different. Let's pivot. I think that if you're just continuously watching what other people do and you just stick with that, you're going to just be mediocre. Your
Hmm.
business won't stand out. You won't be
Hmm.
unique. You won't have more profit than anybody else. I mean, you're going to just be average. And so if
Hmm.
you want an extraordinary business, stop following the masses. And that goes also for like shiny object stuff. Like there's stuff everywhere on the internet. You get on, and I'm sure, there's everybody's selling you some marketing tactic, tool, and strategy. And the reality is that it's the very simple things that actually generate the most. Like
Hmm.
there isn't that much to it. It's marketing, it's advertising, and it's sales. And when you start to confuse it with all of these shiny objects and you start to try to do things that don't really make sense yet, you're wasting time. So let the masses push. When something unique pops out, then you'll be ready to take advantage of that.
Hmm. And then you, there is something that you describe in your five-step process, which is I don't know, develop something, yeah, or something simple, and ask to a group of people if they will like it and they will pay for it, and they go back and develop further. And I think this concept is really really powerful, especially we face a lot of challenges with the tech entrepreneurs. I mean, with the entrepreneurs in general, right? Because everyone that starts going in business, they are very product centered. So they say, okay, I have this product, I have this wonderful product that is gonna save the world. This product is amazing, so innovative. Nobody has it. It's so unique. And entrepreneurs of them have the misconception that people will come and buy it
Yeah.
just because the product is good. And this is way too far from reality. And on the other hand, Joy, I think that the way that you describe, and this is how business is today, right?
Yeah.
I think that a good approach, if you want to start a new business, would be, I don't know, start and grow a community. Ask
Yeah.
that community if they will like to buy this product and how much they want to pay. And then that community will communicate with you and we tell you, hey, we like it. Actually, we're willing to pay something for it. And then exactly what you described, you go back and you develop because you already have a community, a group of people
So I
that
think there's one caveat to the way you're explaining it though. I don't ask people if they would buy it. I ask them to buy
buy
it.
it.
If they don't exchange money, it's still worth nothing.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
if you ask somebody if I have a good idea, 9 out of 10 times they're going to tell you yes. And the reason is because people are nice. For the most part, people are nice. You will very rarely get objective truth out of people when you are presenting something that you have passion about. You will rarely get objective truth that can actually help you. So what you're going to get is you're going to get people, yeah, 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 that's great. Yeah, 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 keep going with it.
Until they
The
don't
problem
buy,
is
until they
the
don't
problem
buy,
is then you're going to go invest your time and money to go develop whatever it is that you're going to build. And then you're screwed.
100%.
And
Yeah,
that's why, like, if it's a software, if it's something that requires investment, if you can pitch it and get somebody to give you money, right, an investment, okay, you're onto something, right?
absolutely.
You're
You
onto
can
something.
literally pre-sell
However,
it, Joe.
you've
You
got to
can even
yeah,
you
and then
pre-sell
you
the product,
pre-sell.
right?
I
Exactly.
mean, yeah, that's
Nothing
what
is
kicks.
stopping you for you to selling it. You take the money, then you use this money that you develop it, right?
That's right. And it's
Yeah,
even easier with a service-based business
absolutely. Yeah.
because you can just figure out how to fulfill the service.
Mhm.
And
Uh,
it's not that difficult. And you can iterate it over time and continue to improve it while you're collecting money from people.
mhm. But
And
then you
so, yeah,
apparently this is a and you can see people following this model even if you are 20 years old and you do follow this model that we're describing today. You can knock out a business with 20, 30, 40 years experience and nobody don't even understand what's going on. Like in this DNA we live now, where we have young entrepreneur wiping out industries and other entrepreneurs that have been there for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years with a lot of experience, a lot of market share. They're totally getting either wipe out or have a very very strong competitor really fast, and nobody understands what's going on. And the reason is because they did start in the traditional way. I mean, they open a store,
yep,
people start to jump into this store. That's how they buy another store, and then people keep growing organically like that. Very little innovation, very little understanding about social media, building a community, X, Y, and Z, and then somebody comes with a new strategy, adopting all these new technologies, and all of a sudden, the those businesses are totally disrupted. Look what happened
yeah,
with Uber, Airbnb, all these businesses that
right.
in the food delivery companies
Well, I mean,
also.
one of the best examples of that is the Netflix Blockbuster,
There you go.
right? That one
Absolutely.
right there. Netflix went to Blockbuster and said, "Buy what we're trying to sell," and they said no. And then now Blockbuster doesn't exist. And so it's just, if you're talking about older people who have been entrepreneurs for a long time and
They thought
like
that
they
they
have to
could do
adapt.
better. They did. They thought, Joe, that they could do better. They did have the infrastructure. They did have the money. They have
Absolutely.
everything.
But
So
they weren't willing to adapt to the market that exists today, right? Or at that time. And I think that's what is different now is, people are hoping that they're adapting, but what they're doing is they're just following and they're following other people and they're just following the masses and they're doing exactly what everybody else is doing. And you can look at it from a sense of even prospecting, right? When people are doing outreach and you're receiving, go check your phone and tell me you don't have a LinkedIn message from somebody trying to sell you something. You don't have text messages from somebody trying to sell you something or emails, and everybody's doing the exact same thing. And since everybody's doing the exact same thing, they're getting basically the exact same results, and then they can't figure out why their business won't grow. So be different, do something different. Like,
yeah.
yeah, it's just not that complicated in business. You just have to be a little bit different. You have to be willing to do something that somebody else won't do. Maybe even it looks weird in the beginning, and but don't follow the masses. Like I always say, if everybody's going right, go left. If everybody's going
Yeah.
left, go right. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And now, Joe, let's talk about the this business that you partner with. With the wedding venue services. I think I find it fascinating. These markets because basically, with somebody's is getting married. I mean, it's not that money. It's not a problem. However, most of the time in this market, people want the perfect wedding, and so it's not about money. People are not. Nobody's gonna come and ask you, okay, I want. I want my way to be as cheap as possible.
It does
People
happen. It
eventually,
does happen.
but for most of the people, it's a special day, and they want to have, let's call it, the most value for the money. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yep.
it's what we call it a market that, because it's happened once, right? um, People are willing to spend more if you can offer something amazing for them.
Yep.
So we can call it, it's very close to a luxury market. It's not
Sure.
not luxury product. However, have some elements for the luxury product where the customer uh, they will be less resistant to spend more if the value is communicated effectively. In this case, the venue. So, how you tap into this market, and how has been your experience so far?
I mean, I would say that unless somebody really loves weddings, don't get into the industry. Because it's just a different industry. It's a challenging industry because there's a lot of people vying for the same market. There's only so many people that are engaged at one time. So if you're in the business of like, so we own wedding venues. So if like we
You
have to
bought the
compete
venues.
against
You guys
yeah,
bought the
so
venues. Wow.
so we partnered up. We have five that I'm a partner in, and then I own a marketing agency that services venues. And so the interesting thing is, just as we've built the business and we've grown, we've just watched the competition explode. And people get into the wedding industry kind of for the wrong reason. They don't understand business. And so then it muddies the waters and it makes things very complicated. But all in all, I mean, the wedding industry is great. It has a lot of upside to it. It is also a very challenging industry, just simply because typically venue owners didn't get into it for the business. They got into it because they like weddings. Well, when they put their life savings into a venue and they're investing, basically everything they have, this has to succeed. And when they don't know enough about business, it takes a lot of education and teaching in order to get them to understand simple things like marketing.
Hmm.
A good example is just the mere concept of advertising is so foreign that they want to sell somebody a $20,000 wedding, but they only want to spend $200 a month on advertising.
Hmm.
And so just that like
It doesn't add up.
misconception,
It doesn't add up.
it doesn't make any sense.
100%.
Right? Like it just doesn't. And if you look at cost per, you can go through all of the data, the cost per lead, the cost per closed deal, like all those things. It's fascinating that, I've been in this industry for a decade, and like just watching how as new people come into the industry, they still just don't understand. And so it's like it's very much like on repeat, and it feels like it's a lot of the same. But yeah, it's an interesting market, and I don't advise anybody to join it just because it's more challenging than people think. They think, like you kind of iterated, is that, well, there's a bunch of money in the market, right? People will spend a ton of money, but you realize like that money has to spread across all of these different vendors. It has to spread
Absolutely.
across all of these different things. And so
Absolutely.
who gets how much of it is the challenge.
Yeah.
And
And then,
so
yeah, I
it's tough.
recently have been in the wedding of my sister, and I saw the whole operation. I do organize events all over the world, right? We do even
Yep.
gala dinners,
Yep.
luxury gala. We have we call it Speakers as Leader Luxury Business Awards. So it's kind of like a wedding, right? You're talking about flowers, about big operation, right?
Yep.
And so I'm aware of the logistics that involves, and the team that needs to go involved, because you need photographers, you need videographers, you need lights, you need sound,
Oh yeah.
you
All
need
of it.
food, you need and then you have to deliver an amazing experience. So then
Yeah.
people can
Logistics,
recommend it.
logistics.
People recommend it. Even it doesn't. It does even a second element to it is not only about the marketing. It's about how, because if this experience is delivered amazing, probably some people sitting there might want to do their own wedding in the venue,
Yep.
and to deliver an exceptional experience for a wedding. In my Exactly like you described, Joe. If people don't know what they're doing, is extremely challenging because uh, to create a great experience, is a lot of things get involved. There is also bar, drinks. You need
Right.
a good contact guy. So many things can go wrong. And the other thing that I saw you in is that, well, like for example, you bought the venues. Oh my gosh, because I mean, weddings, they're only Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Correct me if I'm wrong, right?
Yeah,
So
we'll
then,
do Thursdays,
Thursday. Okay, so then
but there's still
what we
52
do?
weeks in the year.
Yeah, what we do Monday,
That's
very seasonal, no? So what you do Monday to Wednesday? You're empty. Uh,
yeah.
oh
Gotta
my God, there
yeah,
you
gotta
go.
regroup. Yeah,
Yeah,
regroup,
regroup.
restock,
Yeah,
clean. Yeah,
exactly. Cut the grass, you name it. Yeah.
yeah. All of it's got to
So
get done.
it's not like and then that's the other thing that I saw. These type of venues requires a lot of maintenance, right? Because sometimes
Tons.
it's outdoors, grass. This venue that I've been there have a special, people are actually taking the venues because it's night decorated and to take the pictures and so on. So again, the landscape have to be looked after,
Yep.
and anything can happen. Can you believe in the wedding of my sister was in Miami? Look at this, yeah. Look at the beauty of this industry. It was in Miami, in Florida, and so it's like 2 hours for the wedding to start, something like that. And there is no water. There is no water so everybody cannot have makeup and things like that. So the pump was not working. So thankfully the mechanic arrived and fixed it. You know what happened? A lizard.
Huh. Ah.
I asked the mechanic. Say what happened, because this is you guys not having water in the well. Can you imagine all the guests having makeup, everything, and there is no water in the bathroom. There's no water in the facility at all.
Yeah.
And the mechanic fixed it very quickly, and he told me, and I told him, guys, how you managed to fix it? What happened? And he told me, Harry, you won't believe, a lizard get inside the pump and block it, and and that's what happened. So we need to open very quickly and sort it out and fix it. So
That's
imagine you
funny.
how many things can go wrong. When I saw
Oh
this,
yeah.
I'm saying, oh my God. When I saw this, I saw everybody working and said, wow, this is tough business to be in. Yeah. However, you
Yeah.
seem that you're having fun with it. Yeah. So
Well, I'm not there for day to day, so I don't do day to day
yeah,
operations.
I mean, but like I said, you you are loving it. I think that if people love weddings and
Yeah.
this is a great. So how you manage the operation? How you manage without being, because obviously you do own several businesses, so
Well,
you
yeah.
definitely cannot be there in any wedding. I don't think that you're not there in any wedding at all. So how can you manage that the team deliver the experience that you're expecting? And so that also lowering the customer acquisition. Another second question is this one as well, that sometimes marketing people don't understand that everybody's spending all of the money on advertising and getting new clients, right? Whether that client base, you already have a relationship with them, and if you can create an amazing experience, that can reduce a lot your customer acquisition cost. So if you have $100, Joe, how much money of this $100 you will use in bring new clients, and how much of this $100 you will use to build the relationship with the existing client that you have in that venue, so you can get some referrals.
Um, Referrals are a byproduct of just being good at your craft, right? So if you're doing a good job, you're going to get referrals. You can create a referral program, that's fine. But out of the hundred
It's all
dollars,
about the
I
experience. It's all about the
yeah, it's
experience.
it's creating the experience, right? And
And
so
creating that
how
experience is more
much,
expensive, Joe, right?
of course. Yeah, of course. And so I mean, I don't know how you could break it down from $100. You could almost split it 50-50 because the experience is
I
just
like
as
it
important as the
50-50.
acquisition. Yeah, the acquisition's just as important as the experience. The experience is just as important
I
as the
agree with you
acquisition.
100%. I agree
Yeah.
with you 100%.
But the way that we do it from afar is that I just put people in place to run the businesses.
Mm-hmm.
So, just like every big company has a CEO that runs it that isn't the owner,
100%.
that's it. So I have other people that operate the companies. Typically, we're not hiring CEOs because we don't need that. I get to kind of play that role, but I play it from afar. But I have operations teams in place.
Managers,
And so the operations, they run the business. I oversee the companies. And that's the
100%.
way that I operate. So that's what I do with everything.
That's brilliant. And then, and those managers, they have to be aware, I mean, some of the in the role description is about creating that amazing experience.
Yeah.
Making this amazing experience as most cost effective as possible. I always call it high value to a low cost, right? Because
Yeah.
of course, if you get the most expensive photographer in town and the most expensive videographer in town. Of course, you're gonna have good photos and good videos,
Sure.
no doubt of that. But it's not about how can we create the best experience as most cost effective as possible, because otherwise, the $50 that I just gave you for the experience, they're gonna fly really fast, really fast, and you need so many people good, like DJ,
Yeah.
photos, light, you name it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So so but also um, but so then which message do you have for the entrepreneurs out there that they're not doing this 50-50 equation? They're saying, you know what, 90%. So most of the entrepreneurs, exactly what you said, do something different like everybody else. So what's going on for the entrepreneurs that we see out there is that everybody's putting 90%, 80% of the budget, 95% of the budget, getting new people, getting strangers to the business. And then the people that already bought from us, the people that already have create the relationship with us. Oh, we don't care about these people. Don't worry. You give them bad customer service. You don't provide the best experience for them. They've already bought anyway. So what's the point? And so, what message do you have for the entrepreneurs out there that have this approach? Not because they are bad entrepreneurs. It's that maybe they don't know any better or they don't recognize what you just described. Because
Well, I
this is
think
what
there's,
everybody's doing. This most of the
well,
people.
yeah.
This
And
is what
I think it
everybody's
depends
doing,
what,
right?
but you got to remember that most businesses are struggling financially, right?
Mm,
So, um, even, you originally asked about, getting to the first million, and it's like most people who are doing a million in revenue are still not making any money.
mm-hmm,
They're
mm-hmm,
not really
mm-hmm,
making money until they're at, 3, 4, 5 million. And then they can
mm-hmm.
actually start to go, okay, now we have
Mm-hmm.
resources.
They know that they can sell the product, so they have something. They got the product market fit, but now is when the real journey start, right?
Well, yeah. And so I think it depends what phase in the business they're in, right? If they don't have any money, acquisition is important.
Hmm.
However, simultaneously, retention is enormous. Now, if
Absolutely.
you're in a business where you have one-off sales, like a wedding industry, right? They only sell to that person one time ever. They
Mm,
don't do business with them again.
mm,
So it's always acquisition, always acquisition. So the focus has to be acquisition, but you can get referrals from it. But the problem with, focusing so heavily on referrals is that I can't turn to you and say, hey, Harry, I need you to give me, I know you wanted to refer somebody, but can
so
you refer three? Because I need more business. So I need you to refer me three people, not one. You can't scale referrals. So
100%, yeah.
acquisition and focusing on advertising, marketing, sales is far more predictable than the referral side of it. Now, if you have a business that has reoccurring income coming from customers, people buy more than one time, retention is important because it's easier to sell somebody who's already given you money than it is to sell somebody new. So you should put a ton of attention towards people who have already paid you money because they will give you more if you
Mm-hmm,
ask for it.
mm-hmm,
And you just have to be able to provide a good experience. And then you have to be able to provide them even more value and figure out how to charge more for the next level of value. So, back to kind of the 50-50. What do you do with it?
mm-hmm,
I think you could put a ton of money into your retention and into your upselling and into your cross
mm,
selling.
mm.
I think you can put a ton of money into acquisition, but it depends where you are in your business. If you're trying to keep the lights on, you have to acquire new customers,
Hmm.
right? You have to.
Yeah, you
It's got
do
to be
depend on
constant lead flow
absolutely
because
the
what you can
business. That this is
never
the depend of the client, right?
because what you can't guarantee is that your existing clients are gonna are gonna give you enough future revenue, but you know that if you close new business, you can predictably create a model that we bring in 30 new clients a month, and this is how much we can project, and you can do that and create something very, very predictable. And if you have
Mm-hmm.
predictability there, that's easy because now you know this much money into the system kicks out this much money in revenue. And then I could focus over here on upsell, cross sell, downsell, whatever that is with existing customers. And then we can grow from there. So that would kind of be the long answer to the question.
And it's because there are some phases in all these startup businesses that that you do depend on the client. If you don't have a client, you don't have a business, right?
100%. If you don't have revenue, you're dead. Yeah. You're
So,
either growing or dying.
100%. So yeah, you try to deliver the customer service the best you can, but if you don't have a client, you die.
Yep.
But there at some point in the business, Joe, probably across the medium mark, maybe a little bit more, where where the entrepreneurs start to find out that hey, the business doesn't depend for the client anymore. What that means is they already design a structure, they already have a marketing strategy, they already have some strategy for the customer acquisition process that we can call it is not that it doesn't depend on the client anymore
Yeah.
because something is working that is bringing you the client. It's all about how um, to to make the engine more effective, more perfect, to make everything run smooth, to do tactics outside the box like you just did, you just described in COVID, which I think was spectacular. Yeah, and looking when it's crisis, looking when the industry, when something is happening. I'm the type of person that when crisis is come, I'm like, yeah, I'm so excited every time that that things goes wrong. I mean, don't get me wrong, yeah, I don't wish that, yeah, but when it comes, oh my God, is very very interesting, right? Because it's when the mass start to behaving, people start to do different things, and it's very good to get market share. Okay,
Yeah.
so um, once give us, Joy, some uh, the business, for example, that you have, level 9, which is a virtual assistance business, right?
Yep.
A VA
Yeah.
business. So how you compare this business with the wedding in terms of because your wedding business includes real estate and a high operation, right?
Yep.
Compared with the other one that is more offline, it's more not fixed location. So, what are the pros and cons of each business, and how you manage that?
Well, I mean, if you could stay online and not have brick and mortar, it's easier. It's a lot easier. Just,
However, it
there's a lot of,
doesn't go up in value as much as
well, that's not
the
necessarily
venues.
true
The
because a lot of times because it's nimble and digital businesses are flexible,
Mhm.
like you look at SaaS companies right now, SaaS companies have high valuation,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. That's
They'll
true.
have
You're
far
right. Yeah.
higher valuation
Oh my God,
than a
20x,
traditional
sometimes 20 times.
brick and
Yeah.
mortar. Yeah. So you run into that challenge if you have a traditional brick and mortar. I have a piece of real estate. We're running the business out of it. Your potential of getting bigger money is actually lower in some cases than it is to have a digital business where
Because the
the
multiple
assets,
radios, yeah.
yeah, the
Mm.
assets have so much less service to them.
Mhm.
I mean, one of the biggest things is debt service on real estate. It's, actually servicing the client like physically in a location versus doing things digitally. So, Level 9 Virtual is a virtual assistant services company. We provide labor for businesses. Excuse me. And It's far more flexible, which makes it better. In my opinion, I like that flexibility better. I can be anywhere to operate the company, so it doesn't matter where I live. It can still operate the same. All I need is my computer and
Mhm.
Zoom and Slack and so forth. And so yeah, I mean, some of the it's a far more flexible type business.
Mm.
Yeah, that'd
Yeah.
be probably the number one thing about it.
Mm. But then, Joe, the other hand, the positive thing about the real estate is because you actually bought the venues. In some cases, now this piece of land that you bought, right, and you have your business on top of that,
Yep.
the whole thing appreciate more. It's like one thing on top of the land's worth more because
Well,
it had
that's
the
not
venue
necessarily
working.
true. Yeah, it's not
No.
necessarily true because I'm a real estate guy, so I buy a lot of real estate. We buy
Hmm.
rental properties and so forth. The appreciation that you'll get, look, don't get me wrong. The real estate side of it is fantastic because there's a lot of, you get appreciation, you get depreciation.
Depend what is it, right?
Yeah, you get there's a lot of value in it in that sense, but the appreciation isn't going to explode as fast as I can make an advertising dollar explode. So what I could do spending money on advertising, I can get a higher rate of return faster and more predictably than I can on a piece of real estate. So
But the real estate doesn't depend on you, and
I
the
always like
advertiser
the
it does, right?
right, right. I always like to
Hmm.
look at it in this way. Business is where you build wealth. Real estate is where you hold your wealth. So you build wealth in the business side of it, you hold wealth in the real estate side of it. And that's
Mm.
the difference. So you
Mm.
earn and build as much cash as you can through business, and then you buy real estate to hold the wealth for generations.
Joe, 100%. I agree with you, and there are something that we always discuss in this podcast, and I always like to share this with the audience. Is like sometimes entrepreneurs, we have a business, we're making a lot of money, and then we take this money, all the money we make in the business, reinvest in the business, take all this money, reinvest in the business. Whether a better solution, Joe, will be make a lot of money, take this money, buy some real estate, get the money for the renter for the real estate, use it for marketing, make a lot of money, buy another piece of real estate. Now you have more money for marketing. So if something happened to the business, I don't know, anything can happen.
Yeah.
Still, you have producing income real estate. But unfortunately, no, all the entrepreneurs. This happened to me. It happened to
Yeah.
so many people that we don't have this financial literacy uh,
Yeah.
a lot unless that you do have experience. Yes. So how do you find out, Joe, that this was the right formula? I'm 100% support you. I agree 100% in what you just shared with us. I think that this is the right way. So how you got this financial literacy and knowledge,
Yeah.
which in my opinion is really, really high, and it's not so common in entrepreneur out there with most of the people again. You get excited about the business, you start to make million, let's make 5 million, let's take all the money, reinvest, let's make 10 million, let's take all the money, and then something happen. The industry gets a new technology comes out, you get wiped out in a couple of years, and now you don't have any asset that produce income.
I mean, it's actually as simple as this is Rich Dad Poor Dad is a
Hmm.
good model to
Yeah, I
follow.
love this book. Yeah, right.
So just like read the whole series and then just follow the formula. It's really not that
Hmm.
complicated. And I think this is the part that most people get wrong in business. They actually think business is hard and business is complicated. Business is effort. There's a lot of work that goes into building something, but it's not hard. It's very much the same kind of activities over and over and over and over to nauseum. It is obnoxiously annoying that you just do the same things. But if
Hmm.
you do them enough and you do them consistently, you don't give up, you will find success in your business. And then what you do with the success, which is the money, what you do with it is buy assets.
Hmm.
Like it's just not that complicated. If you do it right and you buy, for example, I like real estate, you buy rental properties, you can get a good 20, 25% return every year on your piece of real estate. Well, that is better than the stock market. That is better than a lot of things. And you can borrow against it. You can take cash out. You can take one property and turn it
Mm-hmm.
into five. You can
Mm-hmm.
take five and turn it into 50.
Absolutely.
But
Mm,
what most people just don't do is take the leap to say, I'm going to take some money from the business. We're doing
mm-hmm.
okay. And I'm going to go get started by
Mm,
holding wealth.
mm,
Create that wealth that you can pass down to generations. You never have to sell a piece of real estate. You never have to.
mm.
Your business you may want to sell because it requires effort.
Exactly.
There's operations, there's people,
Mm-hmm.
there's all these logistics and all those things. It's real estate's not passive by any means, but it's more passive than the
100%.
other side.
Yeah.
And
Mm,
so, and what I like is that it's a hard, tangible asset, right? That I could give to my children.
mm,
The
mm.
business, they would have to operate it. And if they aren't good operators, it will fail. And
100%.
so, yeah. And I mean, I think it's a preference, but I think that if people are entrepreneurs, they should
Mm,
not invest 100% of their money back in their business. I think that they
mm,
should always be taking some out and buying assets, whether that's you're
mm,
buying in Bitcoin or you're buying in real estate or whatever it is
mm,
that excites you.
mm,
But read, like study, learn.
mm.
It's not, I mean, this business just isn't that complicated. We make it complicated.
Mm. But the truth, Joe, is like, I don't know, a lot of people are talking how to become setbacks and how to become failure. Yeah. But now nobody's talking how to deal with success. Yeah. How you operate with success. And a big piece of this is what you're just sharing, right? Like,
Yep.
okay, get that wealth and build assets. Yeah. I think
Yeah.
that that conversation, and in this very same podcast, loads of entrepreneurs have come and they have made millions and they have lost it all and make it back again. And
Yeah.
because this piece that you just shared, they just miss it on the way.
Yep.
They get so
Well,
excited about the
they're
product.
so
uh,
busy. So this goes to the business strategy side of it. If you're in
mhm,
your business working every day, you don't have time to go look at a real estate deal.
100%, exactly.
So
It's
get out
how
of your
you
business.
structure. Exactly.
That's why I don't
Yeah,
operate my businesses. That's
yeah.
why I have other people run the business so I can focus on
Absolutely.
deals that actually set
Mm-hmm.
my family up for generations.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, like this, like for my when I started my first real estate business, we managed to sell over 5 million doing this in London. I'm based in London, and and this is exactly what happened, Joe. Right? The when they arrived to the office and my team, my managers, I have managers. They sent me home. They told me, Harry, we don't need you anymore. You go home. Yeah. They were telling me, actually, the problem in this company is you that come here to talk to us,
Yeah.
making us waste time. Go home, travel the world. Who cares? That we can manage that. That day, I didn't know, it was very strange feeling. I'm thinking, did I make myself obsolete in my own company? That my team is firing me was a really really weird feeling, but I was so happy. I was extremely
Yeah.
happy. Yeah, I always been proud and happy that all my team members that better than me in everything, and I always say this, because that made me happy and proud. I think. What do you think, about these entrepreneurs out there that they have this mentality, this mindset, this ego. I mean, we all have ego because otherwise we won't build those businesses. But at the same time, when you go, okay, I'm the boss, everybody has to do what I say, and you create this structure in your company, then of course you need to be in your company all the time because if everybody had to do what you say, you have to be present all the time, and every thousand things that happen in the business, you have to take all the decisions. It's very exhausted. Yeah, it's very. I don't know. People make like a person out of the business that I'm this persona that I arrive to the office. Everybody not to look at me. I start to tell everybody what to do, and I'm the big boss, and I'm the big deal here. Yeah, and but at the same time, I think that you they're trapped in the whole thing. And then they cannot see the bigger picture. Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
So, okay, Joe. So if people are in love with our conversation and they want to find out more about your businesses, about what you're doing, how can they find you? How this process work?
Yeah, they can just email me, joe@joerare.com, joe@joerare.com. Easy. They can reach me anytime. My assistant answers all my emails and checks all my emails, so I don't touch my email. It's another thing entrepreneurs should never do. Entrepreneurs should never,
Absolutely.
they should never answer their own email ever, ever. I don't check email.
Eh,
I don't check email ever. My assistant does it. She gives me a summary every day. I tell her if there's something that needs to be addressed, and she handles everything.
Me too.
And that's
Yeah.
how, yeah, and that's how you should be doing
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So,
I
but
mean,
yeah, you could,
also
anybody
with the
can reach
social
out.
media as well. Also the social
Yeah,
media as
absolutely.
well.
I don't even use social
Gazillion
media.
followers. Everybody writing of you. Then people in London sometimes find me on the street. Harry, I message you in the social media. Blah blah. I'm like, oh my god, these they telling me I love your answer. I had to tell them, yeah, we did produce an answer for you, but it was not me.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess you.
That's right.
So yeah. Okay, Joe, thank you so much. Yeah, have been
Yeah, I
well.
appreciate
Tell
it.
us what are the wedding venues. So if somebody listening from our audience from United States, they want to get married, they want to have an marriage experience. Where are the venues? Are
Oh,
in the
go
you?
to yeah, they can go check out foresthouse.com. That's a good place to start.
There you go.
Foresthouse.com is a fun one. That's in California.
The-
It's in Northern California. And that's a good place to start. You could also check out my one of my other businesses, which is weddingBookingSystem.com, and that's the marketing agency in the wedding space.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, thank
So
you so much,
cool.
Joe.
All right, buddy.
And for all of you following this broadcast, see you in our next episode of Unstoppable, how brave entrepreneurs like you break that wall and achieve the first million. Bye for now.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.